Okay, and welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time in Field Glory Empires as Persia, continuing that game. At this point, we haven't completely destroyed Egypt, and we may at some point go back to war with Egypt just to try to steal some more of their legacy. I think this is all the Egyptian territory we're going to want. We're going to roll through our provinces. We got troop orders already assigned to getting our guys mostly where we want them. So we might want to move these guys somewhere else. Although, as long as they're on the coastline here, they're probably fine. So we'll move them there. So going through our territories. At some point, I might just leave a lot of these guys on culture generation. Rather than food or infrastructure, just so we can do a little bit less micro associated with them. Here, we'll probably go the quant, a little bit more growth. The capital is probably one of the few places where I won't ever completely abandon doing micro on. But a lot more of the minor stuff I might just start designing. The territory is close enough to done and just accept it. I'm not going to build it up anymore. At the mint or the archery range. Probably want to build up the archery range. Not that I'm ever probably going to build archers in the area, but building up the military buildings is good for the military expertise ratio. And if you're going for the ratio, it doesn't really matter which buildings you're building at that point. We can get the frankincense, which is nice. 22 culture is not bad. This gets us our 6 culture building here, which will help for later loyalty things. Training ground. Land expansion. Nothing to do there. Nothing to do there. $31 money caravan houses. Pretty nice. Nothing to do there. Nothing to do there. Well, things already basically set up to do there, right? Build the courthouse and get enough people on infrastructure to get it done in a reasonable amount of time. You know, that's reasonable enough. Leave the rest on food. Could build the dry dock. We might at some point want to build warships here, so that's not a bad idea. And the sales can be important, so yeah, that's fine. The open slots there. Handle shop. We've got wax and range. Got tin as a bonus, so that's not a bad candle shop. We've got access to tier 2 commerce buildings. Culture and commerce both start with C's, so that's why I get confused sometimes apparently. Declaration Tribune. Yeah, we'd want a better trading tents or training tents. We're not going to build cavalry here, so I think that's just a reroll. And obviously I don't need that much on infrastructure if we're just rerolling. I think this is the place we're training cavalry. Yeah, it'd be a provincial light cavalry train location. So I'll grab the stables. Could do with the loyalty here, so the worship place is not too bad. Those will all be done in turn, so we don't need to futz too much there. Sacred Estate. We could do this with some loyalty. Although, yeah, probably loyalty, because the Builders Guild would probably want to be a lot better. Right, so that's 12 for the Builders Guild. No, grab the loyalty first. Like, we'll build the Builders Guild eventually, but that one's not tempting enough. I would like a better loyalty building than a tavern. Yeah, we'll do the reroll here. And then you do more infrastructure, so we can get you a bit that way. And a bit that way. Regional road to help with trade. Monument. Scriptorum or Wheelmaker? Let's go the Wheelmaker. That allows us to get up to Regional Road. So I don't need those infrastructure guys if we got nothing to build there. 3 there. Let's build another candle shop. Realizing I forgot to start the timer, so I don't know how long the episode is. So YouTube will have to, well, I'll probably know before it gets to YouTube how long the episode is, but if you're watching YouTube and it's not an hour long, it's a little shorter, a little bit longer, that is why I start the timer a little bit late is what ended up happening. Smokehouse there is not bad. The Temple of Zeus is good when it finishes. Archers there, okay. Salt House. Also a place where the loyalty is starting to get a little bit grumpy. Go cult site, try to keep the loyalty reasonable there. We got nuts and seeds already. It wouldn't be that hard, I suppose, to get the figs and the dates up there. But we'll probably pass for the moment. Grab the Wheelmaker, it's Preceptor House. Grab the Preceptor House. You, what did you pull? Again, we're in cotton range here, so getting a spinning mill with all the bonuses is nice. Works. So we can get that to a regional road. The brickworks there. And this one we don't need because it's calmed down enough. We don't need these guys on food production anymore because the place just makes enough. Oh, well no, we need one on food. Close enough. Street parlor. Again, another region where now that we're no longer at war with Egypt, we're making so much more food. Just passively, we can move on to trying to fix the poor construction state of Egypt. And it's probably even going to get better over the next couple turns. We have even more. And then that's all the region, or that's all the territory, provinces. And there's no idle territories at this point, so we can cycle the turn. As we continue to get ready for declaring war on Athens and Sparta. Oops. Supposed to have 2 guys in the same location so they can become a single fleet. Might work out. Okay, so you'll be at the port next turn. You can get to a port in a turn. This turn as well. You can't get to a port, so you're going to still be... We're still going to be waiting on you. And you're the one running down there. I think we'll actually hold on to you for Edom instead of pushing it across the Mediterranean to Asia Minor for the war with the Greeks. Okay. Guess the temple there. Let's go through the provinces in the correct order instead of focusing on Judea. One of the pop-ups there was it telling me that the Judean palace was finally disassembled completely, which is annoying because it was a culture building. It was a culture building we probably didn't mind having, but it's not gone. Grab an iron mine. We don't really need the iron mine. Grab a glassworks. That would actually be a decent glassworks. 30 culture. Provides some money and culture to the neighbor location. Sure. I'm gonna 36 money go up, money bank. Can we get imported from, I believe our neighbor. It's getting imported from like up here. Imported from there, yeah. Which is our subject, so they'll probably be available for importing exporting for quite a while. You know, for the moment, I'm gonna stop trying to micro this place so much. I'm gonna swap these guys over to culture. Yeah, we're doing this mainly so I don't have to micro it, but the drawback of, or the benefit from this, right, is if we can hit certain culture breakpoints, we get more legacy points per territory. Most of these places, although this is a decent amount, it's like 100 each. So that's accelerating it from, oh, we'd get there in 21 turns to we get there in like 11 turns. Alright, so in some places it's making a difference, sometimes it's pretty negligible. And we obviously don't need a culture decadence ratio because we're kind of permanently stuck at 1. This is an area we still want to keep growing. I probably want to build up the capacity to build the cataphracts up here. Even though we probably don't need them, but... This is maybe an area I'm less interested in. This is just regular medium cavalry. So I might move these guys over to culture as well. Yep. Yeah, we'll grab the tavern, and then I think we'll probably swap this place over to culture as well, just to reduce the amount of micro. Again, another light cavalry province. Not too worried about recruiting light cavalry, and we've got enough built up in these places that other than trying to finish up what we're currently working on, we don't really need more done in these provinces. So we'll swap over to culture mostly. Yeah, so we'll build the Cannavasari in 1 turn, and then we'll probably swap the rest over to culture. Again, another cavalry. This one's medium cavalry, which is even less interesting than the light cavalry. Light cavalry want like 2 to 4 per stack. The medium cavalry, unless there's a cavalry pillar army, we can probably just pass on. Grab the theater here, and then other than making sure we get enough to finish it all, which we have more than enough, everything on to culture. Courthouse will finish. Again, I think we're just going to put this one on to food, or from food to culture. We finished the Gold House. We'll have a couple more builds to build there, but slowing the growth train down allows us to ignore these territories a little bit more. And then your archers, again, not super heavy requirement to recruit a lot of those. Those are a little bit more something we're going to build a lot of in a go, but you build an army in a go, those usually. Okay. Build half an army of them. So you build like 10, and that only takes like 100 equipment, so that's pretty easy to do. What we've got sitting around. Yep, the Rex Edition turn. Same sort of thing here. Although this has got some pretty nice wonders already. Wouldn't necessarily be the worst place to begin to build up, but... Two building slots here. This will go for the reroll here. Surplus. Here we go. And again, this is for more micro reasons. In the grand scheme of things, it probably would be worth trying to build these up, but I think we're already set to win, that we just want to run out the clock. Grab the land expansion. We go for some loyalty here. Actually, the mill isn't a very bad loyalty building, so we'll grab that. Ooh, commercial port. Regional roads. So I'll build this infrastructure over to culture again. I went better than a 30 to 9 transfer there. This is the place where we're building archers, so the archery range is not a bad idea. And then apparently we just don't need anyone working on infrastructure to get that complete. So food to culture. 2 building slots there. Grab the land reclamation and just get an extra one. And then we've got so much saved up there that, yeah, we can probably just do that as well. Okay, next. Nothing to build there, so everything on to culture. Sort of long-term optimal, probably pushing them on the food to keep growing it would still make sense, but at this point we're on the winning train, we're just waiting for it to pull into the station. And this heavy focus on culture, if there's the sudden death victory, will help with that. The biggest concern with what I'm doing would be if the administrative strain thing goes away and we end up actually being cash flow negative, and or culture decadence ratio bad. Granted, we probably won't be culture decadence ratio bad if everyone's on culture, so mostly worried about having the modifier go away and suddenly we not making money. Temple Zeus done in 2. Lots to build here. So here probably is going to be left on actually building stuff. Need to build there. Could do some loyalty. Cult site's not the worst way to do that. Masculine Temple. Granted, we're out of import range. The city walls there. For open slots there in Albania. Not to confuse with the other Albania. Just to be like, don't confuse Georgia with the other Georgia. Funny that there's multiple places in the world named the same exact thing. Next, presumably still need that on Judea, yeah. This is a complication. Oh, we've got 2 minutes. Okay, that's why it's going negative there. Attempt to grab the Scriptorum. Should probably grab the Scriptorum. So the Scriptorum is going to give us R6 culture building. That then means I'll be able to start rolling for the plus 40 loyalty ones. Oh, are we legitimately at the point where I can't? Nope, we can get it. Okay. I was worried for a moment there. Get the place stable. It's like, yeah. Almost there. Almost wasn't able to get stable. Okay. And then I don't think we got any idols. Nope. Troops have their assigned orders. Next turn we will send 2, give them long-range orders to get across the ocean. Let's get to the next turn. Ratio culture decadence ratio 1. And yeah, we're pretty securely in the legacy point lead at this point. Grab the Emporium choice. Actually, go ahead and buy slaves because we're just rich enough. Justice system. Cases and trials. Okay, we'll send you across. Yeah, we'll do something like that. Okay, take a little bit of a risk here. Because I think we're going to declare over this end turn. Okay. So, because we can declare over end turn here, I'm going to hit the declare war here on Athens and Sparta. We'll complete our mission over the end turn. And then we'll go back through our provinces pretty quickly. You've got nothing to do, you're already in culture. You've got some stuff to build. Sure, grab the temple. Oops. One building slot there. This is one of the places we probably still want to keep building up, because I do want the ability to build the cataphracts. You know, build the pleasure house here. That doesn't sound like too bad of a plan. We don't need the conversion. We could do better training tents. This is actually a plain, so the farm wouldn't be too bad. Grab the farm. And we can spare 100 infrastructure. Still get it done in a turn. Here we go. Grab the stables here. I think this is a place where we're building... Yeah, if we were to build stuff there, it'd be cavalry, so that's fine. 2 building slots here on the coast. Caravazari. And we're short... I think 40 infrastructure? We'll just put the whole province on there, and that'll be more than enough. We have 74 here. Put them in culture production. Did we get something better to build here? Crafty district will be done in a turn. Quant. Expected to actually have the quant done in a turn, so that's not too bad. Ooh, the Necropolis. So the Necropolis doesn't show up a lot. Often because I don't have 2 building slots sitting around. So it takes 2 building slots, so it's a particularly large building that way. Slot usage 2, does a decadence reduction, does a culture bonus, does a conversion bonus, imports myrrh. It's one of the few buildings that imports myrrh. Yeah, so it's a good building. We'll go ahead and take it. Although it's going to cost us 2 slots, but we have the 2 slots this time. We'll grab that farm. Okay. Probably not needing much infrastructure to get it done, but that'll be fine. Actually, no, I don't need the loyalty there right now. Do the armor instead. Grab the wheelmaker. And obviously we need enough infrastructure to get the wheelmaker done in a reasonable amount of time. There we go. Temple Zeus will be done next turn. Smokehouse because the health bonus. Again, Smokehouse because the health bonus. That plantation will be done. Will be good when it's done. Although it's going to cause a little bit of an arrest problem there. Grab the gladiator school. 4 slots. Yeah, grab the Clearwater. Grab the Quant. Grab the Smokehouse. Again, still sort of slowly working out the need to not have people on food. And then I think that's it, unless we got an idol that's a loner idol. We don't. Okay, double check the regionals. Let's cycle the turn, and we should be completing our goal by declaring war on both Sparta and Athens simultaneously. And I think one of them is occupying Argos, so we should be able to do the landing on Argos this turn. Apparently I just got an achievement for being 8 or more wars at once. So I thought I only just declared war on 2 people, but apparently I declared war on a lot more than I thought I did. We're marching against Sparta and Athens. Dalmatia has been involved. Okay, so they were the subject of Athens. Truscii is... Okay, they were probably the allies of Athens. Okay. Pelophos. Okay. It's us getting help. Oh, okay, so that's another Athens client state. That's an Athens client state. Our client state. Apparently Judea still exists somewhere. We took all their territory, but they exist. Macedonia is allied with Athens. Okay, so that Macedonia is coming. Come in. War has been declared, and no doubt our vast armies led by our mortals will teach these Greeks a lesson. We have earned 100 or 250 for this bold move, depending upon if we declared 1 or 2 wars. We got 250 because we declared 2. A new general and perhaps a new national trait. Let's see what our national traits include. Archimedean imperialism. So already we had that. Maybe expansionist? X manpower bonus 20%, that's believable. Average military expertise, we like that higher. Venerating the divine. So probably expansionist. Pick something up. These people feel like they need more and more land, yeah. Oop, we lost the admiral to one of our fleets. Orderless and fair justice system is solving Persia. Keep the population quiet. Some citizens with a taste for exoticism have acquired some slaves. Rare slaves. New general. Okay. And then we do want to declare on these guys as well. They have cooperation with us, but they have they're not willing to become a client state, and that's a bridge too far for me. Okay, land troops ashore. Run the entire island over, basically. Can you get ashore? Yeah, you can get ashore on that island. So do so. Then we go through all our provinces. The capital's got some stuff you can build. Only dates, that's a bit meh. Do large walls here. We'll do large walls as sort of a reroll. Ooh, regional roads. Marble Emporium. Again, we don't need marble. I think we literally have it adjacent. So down the marble there. Down the physician house. The builder shoal is a little tempting. Yeah, the builder shoal is a little tempting. We'll probably pass on it because we definitely not that desperate. That's a really good amphitheater, 50 culture. Next. One thing to build here. Courthouse. Yeah, we want something like that level of infrastructure, so next. Build up the wall. More equipment's not bad. Help us when we come around to building more cataphracts later. If we build more cataphracts later. Well, for the farming province of the area, yeah. Don't need as much on infrastructure. There we go. Next. You've got lots of stuff to build. We probably... Oh no, this is the glassworks. I was about to say, we probably don't need another sculpture maker or luxury maker, but no, this is the glassworks. Sure. We'll take the glassworks. And you would want like another 70 to get done in a turn. So that will definitely finish in a turn. We'll grab the precept the house there. Yeah, we'll build the noble gardens here. And then we can get frankincense here, so we can get a pretty decent basilica. Three open slots. Grab that grab that harbor upgrade, which will be done in a turn. Build the Windmaker. Build the training ground. And of course, we're going to need some infrastructure to actually get this stuff done. I think this is mostly... I was about to say this is mostly slaves coming in, but apparently it's not. Just new population. Okay, we just had enough food to collect anyway. Oh, it does appear that the place is just reasonably food positive regardless of what we're doing. So maybe that's less surprising. I love how some of the places are like, oh, I'll take this calf of food and put it on infrastructure. And I'm just moving like one food around. Like one food turns into one infrastructure. It's like, oh. That barely did anything. Acropolis done next turn. One build slot there. Let's grab the street parlor. That's probably overbuilding, but I'm not going to micro too much. One open slot. We can grab a farm or a bank. Let's grab the bank. Yeah, 2 turns is probably good enough. One slot here. We could definitely use some loyalty here. The Noble District's not the worst way to get that. Two turns isn't too bad. Land expansion. A street parlor. Yeah, it still gets everything done in a turn. 82. Okay, it's all on to... Oh, not quite all of it onto culture. Although the slaves aren't very good for making culture anyway. Real late game, they're probably best in slot for food and infrastructure, but they're still not going to hold a candle to proper citizens making culture. Let's grab the weapon depot there. And again, I don't necessarily need that in a lot of particularly quick, but get into. 2 is quick enough. And I suppose we're declaring war on the place we're getting the frankincense from, so this is going to be expensive in the short run until we take the frankincense deposit. There's a lot of stuff importing frankincense that's probably coming from the place we're invading. An ivory emporium. This actually probably is a decent place for ivory. Although maybe it could be better. Oh, yeah, definitely could be better. We don't need the ivory emporium on the place that's literally needing ivory. It's the only place in the game that can need ivory. Yep, we'll do ivory emporium someplace else. Racing track. Yeah, we'll do the racing track. And it's pretty infrastructure expensive, so that's going to take a couple turns there to build. 7 things to build here. Oops. Let's click there, click there. Let's build up the walls. And what do we train here? Archers. If it was cavalry, I would have picked up the stables. Even though I think the cavalry, or I think the stables used to be like the archer range where it provided XP to cavalry. Doesn't appear to anymore. Yeah, we'll grab the wheelmaker there. Implantation will be next turn. We'll grab the armor. Even though I don't think that's a place where we're going to be training troops, but... Crafting district. Okay, you've calmed down, which is good. Grab the furnace. You need a little bit more time to calm down. And then unless we got idols, we're good. Time to cycle the turn. See how the invasion of the Creta Occidentalis Islands over here goes. Okay, landing is successful. 35 versus 1, I think the 1 is gonna lose. Completely exhausted from the incoming range fire, and then 8v2. Yeah. Oh, that's a fight. 32 versus 34. Although, you can see from the balance of combat power that this is maybe not a good fight for the other side. Skirmish exchange. 9v5, okay, so the palace guards hold steady. 9v7, armored hoplites do not. 6v9, so again, palace guards hold steady. Cavalry goes in. We actually have a bad roll, and our cavalry loses that exchange. 9v8, armored hoplites go down. Oh, actually, no, they survived the exchange. 9v7. 8v5. And the cavalry exchange fight. That is a draw. The enemy holds. Although they did lose one of their heavy linemen. Second battle down in Creta Occidentalis. Oh, this is Occidentalis, so it's west and east. Ranged phase. Smaller garrison here, so this should be a battle we win. Nice and easy, yeah. Persia wins that battle. Overrunning Crete. Second go on the Battle of Ionia. Ranged phase. That exhaustion on the enemy forces. 9v7 against the Palatial Guard. And the Palatial Guard finally gives, although it's still intact. 9v9. Stalemate. 6v5. Citizen Hoplites collapse. 4v3. Stalemate amongst the cavalry. 9v8. Armored Hoplites hold reasonably well. 9v3 is going to go badly for them. So at that point, I think the enemy is going to rout. Forcing them into our fleet, which will probably give them a really bad day. Oof, we actually lost some cavalry. Pursuit phase goes in. Persia wins the battle, driving them into the ocean, where the fleet awaits them. 16 army troops of Argos attempt to escape to sea, getting caught up by 18 Persian warships. Seven versus 0. 0, yeah. A couple of them rolled well enough to survive the initial engagement, but they're not going to survive the pursuit here. There goes the fine Argos army to the bottom. Driven from the island there. Openly hostile Edom. Turn metal into money. We'll acquire some more slaves. Oh, this is Crocus. Okay, see, we don't need manpower or metal. Threat from Greece. Once again, the petty Greeks managed to set aside the quarrels, and they may even form alliances against us. We can't allow that. The Council will warn us as soon as the king decided what is the best course action for Persia. Well, we're at war with them, so they're functionally an alliance against us. Whether truly an alliance or just one of functionality. Okay, so we're gonna do something like that there. And that's all you're gonna be able to do to get to the ocean. You want to land? I suppose we might as well just land straight on Narcos. So if you move to that side. For the moment, put everyone here on food and try to feed the fleet. You'll become the administrative capital of the region. Try to make some food. We don't necessarily need you building anything right there. It's a good initial turn in that war. Oh, we lost the general. That's a shame. We're running out of good generals. Grab Federate Barbarians. Okay, that was the regional decision. Got troop assignments there, troop assignments there. The boats stand ready to provide support. The Calypsos have actually crossed, so we should put a garrison commander in here by the fort sometime. Maybe instead of landing Calypsos, we should go relieve our siege. Do that in 2 turns. Okay. Okay, let's defeat the Edom Field Army first. And then we'll go have the infantry army storm the fort. The cavalry will probably then clean up the rest of the mess after that. New open building slot there. We don't really need to import tin. Scriptorum wouldn't be a bad idea. Or we can do Salt House for more health and growth. We'll do Salt House for more health and growth. Build an academy, sure. That's expensive enough. We're just gonna take everything off of culture, put it onto construction for the moment. And an amphitheater. Massive walls done next turn. That's fine, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine. Down to here, you got stuff to build. Grab the regional roads. That's fine, fine, fine. Things to build there. What do we got on queue? Warehouse isn't that bad, and you don't need to actually get anyone off of culture to do that, so doubly good. Regional road. You can do with a little bit more loyalty, so grab the noble district. We're going to hold off on the Fast and Temple here. We want more of the Semitic conversion to complete. Grab the training ground in the meantime. You do probably want more loyalty. Gambling Ring isn't the best of choices, but it's a fine choice. In fact, probably out of the tier 1 buildings for loyalty, it's one of the better ones because you can upgrade it. Like, that's the big thing against Fortune Teller is, oh yeah, for loyalty, it's not enough loyalty for a building slot, and it doesn't upgrade. Where some of the other tier 1s, at least, like the Gambling Den, right? Yeah, you don't want the Decadence cost, but at least it has upgrades, so it gets reasonably decent for the building slot. Bank the next turn. Could accelerate the Noble District. 2 turns is probably quick enough. Although, in the place that's under siege, we should, you know, probably make food so they can't starve us out. And maybe give a little bit more infrastructure for one of the other cities to get it done in a turn? Yeah. Hill. And Smokehouse. Raven's will be done next turn. Training ground. Racing track's nice. Will be done next turn. We got 6 build slots here. We probably do want a little bit of loyalty, so the Tribune is not a bad idea. Could do with some loyalty here. Tavern's probably not the best because it's only a 4 loyalty building. Although we're getting 15 money here, which is okay. Watchtower for the defensive bonuses. Lots to build here. What's the terrain here? Plains. So the well is tempting because we're going to get other good food bonuses as well. Yeah, we'll go the well for the food bonuses. Like most of Egypt where it isn't desert are probably places we want to build some food. The desert we obviously are not going to build food in. Farm, this is in the Delta area. So it's plains. Not the full swamp spot of it, which is good. There's marsh. I don't think we can build plantations on the marsh. Click the wrong one again. You want tennis, which is the marsh. Do I want the wells? I think we'll pass on the wells for the moment. We'll grab the monument. Grab the warehouse. Next, 4 and 3. So Middle Egypt is a little bit less got to build in it. Regional road's nice. Although it's mostly focused in 2 territories, of course. Hillmaker. And then Southern Egypt. Lots to build in Southern Egypt. Smokehouse. I think I just made that province basically make nothing because it's making no infrastructure, and while the guys were making food, they aren't making enough food to offset the... Yeah, this is going to be a painful place to build. 90% infrastructure malice. Under pacification. Okay, once the under pacification goes away, it'll actually be making some infrastructure, but barely any. Depression we can at least remove. The dust storm is going to be there forever. And yeah, we've got to go up to Tier 3. Tier 3 infrastructure buildings to clear half the malice on the infrastructure there. Okay, everything is queued up. We're going to cycle the intern, we're going to see how our troops move, and then we're going to put the part break in for YouTube. So go troops. Okay, first fight versus Edom, and they've actually... Oh no, I was about to say they jinked one of the armies. I think they actually failed to jink the cavalry force, yeah. Enemy front line exhausted. Although, our cavalry is not the best in this terrain. So we got armored cavalry up against heavy infantry. Heavy infantry are going to have... Or the cavalry are going to have a bit of a bad day. Although, our roll kind of saved us there. 5v4... 5v1 will win, 5v1 will win, 5v1 will win. Okay, that one we... Well, actually, we rolled well enough to win. Not enough to completely delete the unit, of course. Okay, at that point, they rout. Some forces escape, but barely any. Which, of course, is going to get caught up in one of the falling battles. Go infantry. B2. Yeah. Okay, the war with Edom will be over fairly quickly. Change of recruit policy. Reduce the bounty. Support science and culture. Lots of different choices. Could do food. Or construction. Of course, this is jobs. I'm not actually sure if this affects the buildings or if it only affects the workers. Zero culture bonus nationwide, your commerce bonus nationwide. In the infrastructure job. I definitely want to do one of these. I think we'll do cultural refinements. That'll just help make it a little bit easier to get the culture up. To get the legacy bonuses. Subdue Greece. There's only one course of action. We must make sure they cannot challenge a rule and the glory of Persia. Conquer Atticus or Laconia or both. Or have them pay homage to us and we can be masters of the civilized world. You must achieve these goals within 30 turns. So I don't know how both is going to apply offhand. Because obviously, unless you capture them both at the same turn, you can't do both. Because it would complete. Conquer Atticus, Laconia, or both, or have them pay homage. We'll probably do something like that. We'll see. But with that, I think this is probably where we're going to go ahead and put the part break in. We're obviously going to continue the war against Edom. Should be over fairly quickly. As soon as the desert gets it overway. Scorched steppes. Okay, so I can go to the Scorched Steppes. I can't go into the desert. Fair enough. Let's order the assault there. So that's basically troop movements there. We've got troop movements assigned over here. So we should send you to do that sort of motion so that you can guard the escort. Then we'll probably send you to port to recover. Same sort of concept with you. We'll have you go run up to the Hellespont. You might actually need to go to port. Yeah, you're mostly intact. You can just go straight to the Hellespont and stay in the Hellespont. So that's the rough troop movements. In the beginning of the next, well, after we do all the building pass in the next turn, in the next part, we're going to try to land in Aeroglade, which we're obviously going to have to siege for a while. I suspect that wall is thick enough we're not just going to be able to take it by storm. We'll have a little bit better NDA once we know what the garrison is. Our guys are manly men, and they might be able to storm it. Otherwise, yeah, we're going to get rid of the client state troops here. Cross the Hellespont and go west. Are we at war with Macedon? I think we were at war with Macedon. Yeah. Which in some ways actually makes the whole prosecution of the war fairly easy. We're at war with these guys, we're at war with these guys. We're basically at war with Greece. We're at war with the entire Greece. They're all targets. We're in a target-rich environment over here. Some of these people, like the Byzanton, we might be able to get independent pieces with. They're allies, not subjects. Yeah, that'll be for next time. If you're watching on YouTube, there will be a part up tomorrow as we carry out a war with Greece and see how that goes. If you're watching on Twitch, this is going to be where the midstream tea break occurs, where I go get a cup of tea. If you've been on the Twitch stream before, you know probably how long that takes. It takes a little bit longer than a normal break. With that, I'm going to go ahead and wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next part, and bye for now.